Alright, we're at the front end of the engine, and before I pull the crankshaft, I want to pull the timing set, and after I get the timing set pulled, we'll take a stab at the camshaft, which may or may not be friendly about the issue of coming out. Note that there's a little bit of play in this, but it's actually a pretty good timing set. I am not, repeat, not going to reuse it. It just, for the price, it just doesn't pay to reuse. Although some have argued, and I sort of buy into the logic, that if it looks really good, that your chances of getting a bad one may be better than your chances of this one coming out. Now, I spoke a little too soon because this cam gear doesn't want to come off the cam, so I'm going to whack it a hair with my buddy. We'll pretend it's delicate and we're going to reuse it. We don't want to hurt it. There we go. So the cam did start to come out with it, which is, I guess, happenstance, good for us. You'll note that I have the crank down while I'm doing this, and when we reinstall it, the crank will be up, and I'll get into why later. This gear and chain is going to get cleaned and put away as a spare. Whenever I'm driving an older car on the road, I like to have some kinds of spares with me, and pretty much anything other than the whole engine that rotates I will take with me. So while we're here, I'm going to put some of our gas and diesel mix on things and start a little bit of a cleaning process up front here. This hasn't been touched yet with any kind of cleaner. This is gas and diesel with a little bit of seafoam in it. The seafoam tends to be, if you haven't heard it from me before, something of a good gum cutter. The reason I wanted to get the gear off the cam and not just pull the whole thing out is because I am not gloved up right now, and as I speak I am going to the box of gloves and getting out a set of gloves. Whenever you handle engine parts, if you can help it, internals, glove up, your hands will thank you. Even if the gloves are like these and are well worn, it will help your hands. So another thing that's important about pulling a camshaft is that when you do, the distributor has to be out, because the camshaft gets engaged by a distributor gear. The other thing is that, alright, so you're pulling the camshaft out, where is it going to go? And so this camshaft is probably going to run right into the tripod for the camera. So I'm going to turn you a little bit, and then I'm going to try to hang on to this thing and pull gently. Now it doesn't want to come. Before it was anxious, and now it doesn't want to come. I'm going to take my bolt and put my bolt back in, and I didn't want to do that, but we're replacing the cam. But a little bit more gentle approach would probably be deeply appreciated by anything resembling a good camshaft. So I have no distributor in the hole, and I have no other obstacles of which I am aware. However, I'm going to support this in the middle with my fingers right behind where the distributor is. And so there we have the camshaft, and this surface rides on these bearings where that groove is down there. Let me see if I can see. Can you see that groove? Let me see if I can give you a little bit better shot of that. Can you see the groove in here? So the cam and the bearings have to be aligned up to the proper place in the block, because there's an oiling hole here, right here, and the oil gallery that feeds the whole engine basically dumps oil into the cam bearings all along that gallery. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 bearing surfaces that the cam rides on. You can see that there's a little bit of rust. Where is that rust? Is that some sort of crayon or marking dye? I'm not sure. There's some sort of yellow there, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe somebody who's more knowledgeable than I can tell me. So the cam is out, and now I can feel free to lay the cam down on the blanketed surface that I prepared for it. And next step is turning over the engine and yanking the crank bearings. I'm probably going to do that in fast motion, and then when we get to the part where the crank comes out, we will probably go to regular motion.